Today, we are going to cover linear fusion rifles in Destiny 2. If you just want to see the best in element options, then skip to that timestamp in the description below. As a note, if you enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm still trying to grow here, and it really helps me. But enough of that, let's get into it. First up is the frame viability. These are the base numbers for each frame and exotic with no modifiers taken into effect. Damage is taken from Cali with the crit modifier removed, and this is to give a rough idea on how each frame performs. And since there is only precision frames and linear fusions, I will also cover accelerated coils and liquid coils. Also, noting that the magazine is different for each linear, and some can hit 6 in the mag with just a mag perk or backup mag, while others will require both. Starting with liquid coils, it fires at a 55 RPM. You have a base magazine of 5 with a max of 6. Deals on average 13.5k DPS and 379.5k total damage. Pros are that it has high total damage, with the con being that you're locked into liquid coils. For the base precision frame, it fires at an RPM of 56 with a base magazine of 5 with a max of 7. Deals on average 13.5k DPS and total damage of 372.1k total damage. Pros is that it's good DPS and total damage with no cons to it. Then we have accelerated coils. It fires at a 59 RPM with a base magazine of 5 and a max of 6. It deals on average 13.8k DPS and has a total damage of 364.6k. Pros are that it's high DPS, and the cons are you're locked into accelerated coils. Starting with the exotics, we have Sleeper Simulant. It has an RPM of 47 with a base magazine of 4. Average DPS is 19.5k and total damage of 399.6k. It has high DPS, high total damage, but a very slow fire rate. Next up is the Queenbreaker with the long scope. It fires at a 52 RPM and has a base magazine of 5. It deals on average 13.9k DPS and 405.9k total damage. It has higher total damage than Sleeper, but it has low DPS compared to it. Next up is the Queenbreaker with the short scope. It has a RPM of 73 and a base magazine of 5. It deals on average 13.2k DPS and 293.2k total damage. It has a very fast fire rate, but low DPS and total damage. Then we have Arbalest. It fires at a 57 RPM with a base magazine of 5, deals on average 12.7k DPS and 316.3k total damage. It has good DPS, good total damage for a special weapon. It can feed itself disruption break and has inherent anti-barrier with no cons really to it. Finally, we have Lorentz Driver. It fires at a 57 RPM with a base magazine of 6. It deals 12.1k DPS on average and 301.2k total damage. Pros here is precision kills grant a big suck that deals AoE damage, and you get a 50% damage boost after gathering 3 telemetries without dying. The cons though is that the Lorentz sight is pretty RNG reliant, and sometimes your enemy can be on the opposite side of the room. Now for the perk viability. This will be a quick rundown of mods, barrels, mags, perks, and really anything else I decide to cover here for linear fusion rifles. Starting with the mods, we have Boss Spec. It's a 7.77% more damage on bosses, and you should always be using this for DPS and damage. Then we have Backup Mag, allows for 1 more bullet in the magazine sometimes, and it's a DPS loss compared to Boss Spec. But as a quick trick you can do with this is you can put on Backup Mag, reload with the increased magazine, and switch back to Boss Spec just to take advantage of a bigger first magazine. For the barrel and mag perks, we have Arrowhead Break. Linear fusions don't really need anything else for the barrels, so the recoil direction and handling are great to have. Enhanced Battery increases the magazine size, sometimes again. Liquid Coils is a total damage increase with a slight DPS decrease, and Accelerated Coils is a DPS increase with a total damage decrease. For the reload perks, we have Autoloading Holster. Reloads weapon when stowed for 3 seconds. requires a second DPS option to be effective. Clown cartridge. Reloading randomly increases the magazine by 10 to 50% of its size. Rapid hit. Precision hits grant rapid hit stacks, granting up to 54 reload speed and 23 stability for 2 seconds. Triple tap. 3 precision hits within 2.5 seconds generates bullets into the magazine from thin air. And field prep. Increases reload when crouching and slightly increases the reserves. And finally we have the damage perks. Starting with firing line, it's a 20% damage increase when standing next to 2 other allies. Frenzy, a 15% damage increase on everything when taking or dealing damage every 4 seconds for at least 12 seconds. High impact reserves, more damage as your magazine gets lower, starts at 50% of your magazine and averages to around a 13.25% damage increase on linear fusions with a 5 magazine. Vorpal weapon, a 10% damage increase on bosses and champions when using a heavy weapon. 15 for a special and 20 for a primary. And box breathing, aiming this weapon for 1.5 seconds increases damage by 33%. And this allows you to pre-fire in order to get the box breathing for optimal total damage. Now we have the best in element section. This is a section I use mainly to maintain vault space. That way I don't have duplicate elements of the same gun that is meant to do the same job. A lot of linear fusions here are just meant for boss damage, so I just like to keep one of each element in case I ever need a solar linear for a nightfall or something. For this we take well and divinity into account, and this is so we can keep the same standard across the board, especially when we compare weapons like tractor cannon and divinity that have inherent debuffs. The score is based on a comparison of the DPS and total damage of all the legendary and exotic options available for linear fusions. Starting with Arc, we have Tarantula. You can get this from a world drop, and we are looking for liquid coils and box breathing that you want to shoot for every shot. This also assumes a perfect 1.5 second fire rate. The DPS here is 26.2k and has 785.3k total damage. The score is a 1.01. Then we have Solar with Corsair's Wrath, and you can get this as a Season of the Hunt focus. The perks we're looking for here is liquid coils and high impact reserves. It deals 28.8k DPS and 811.0k total damage. The score here is a 1.08. For Void we have Threaded Needle, and you can get this as a Season of the Chosen focus. And you are looking for liquid coils, clown cartridge, and Vorpal weapon, or Frenzy, but we find Vorpal to just be easier to use than Frenzy. It deals 30.7k DPS and 787.3k total damage. It has a score of 1.1. And Stasis, we have Reed's Regret, and you can get this from Trials of Osiris. The perks we're looking here are Enhanced Battery, Triple Tap, and Firing Line. DPS is 33.3k, and the total damage is 999.7k. It has a score of 1.29. For Exotic Kinetic, we have Arbalest, and that is a random world drop exotic. There is currently no catalyst available for it, and it deals 22.2k DPS and 553.5k total damage with a score of 0.78. This is not including Disruption Break, which could give you a 50% damage boost after breaking a shield. For Energy Weapon, we have Lorentz Driver. It's a Season of the Lost exotic, and you can get its exotic catalyst from Banshee. Deals 21.1k DPS and 527.1k total damage with a score of 0.74. Once again, this doesn't include the 50% damage increase from the Lorentz sight buff after picking up 3 telemetries, and it can become an extremely good weapon after doing that. Finally, for the heavy slot, we have Sleeper Simulant. You can get this from the exotic kiosk. You can get the catalyst from a random Nightfall ordeal. It deals 34.1k DPS and 699.3k total damage with a score of 1.1. And finally, the methodology. Nothing has changed since the sniper video with how I do my methodology, so you can check that out in the card linked above for how I do my testing. I don't plan on keeping this section to drag out and increase video lengths. If you need to check it out, I'll always have the link to it. But there is ever a major update to how I do my methodology, I will update this section as well. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. I'm enjoying this format and plan on updating the sword video to this format as well as comment down below any weapon type that you'd like for me to cover next. One of the ones I'm thinking about doing soon is shotguns, and I'm not sure if I want to separate from slug shotguns and pellet shotguns or mix them together. We do have the new patch coming out next week on December 7th, and I will be doing the new dungeon live on my blind solo run that I usually do at twitch.tv/the_legend_of_kage. It'll be linked on the screen, so feel free to come check that out. I usually start streaming around 4 p.m. Eastern to see when the dungeon comes out. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time.